Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to showcase my carry brand build. This is a build, I'm usually not known for playing any Templar classes, especially not like Inquisitor and stuff, but for this build it absolutely made sense. We had a subscriber goal that I had a 24-hour stream as a girl, and I said, you know what, hot girl, old man, this just fits. We're gonna make an opposite day. I'm gonna dress up as a girl, we're gonna stream, and we're gonna play Templar. So this is the entire story behind this. I still have like painted nails. I need to get like some nail polish remover, but it was absolute fun. Sadly, I didn't do the 24-hour stream. I had to do like twice 12 hours because old man problems, I guess. I got like whatever. Anyways, let's talk about the build over here, which is, in my opinion, the carry brand build. And oh boy, one thing I just have to say is, as I said, I usually don't play Templar class. I don't like the long neck model. I think that the transmog, the MTX, just looks terrible. But with this said, look at this beauty, man. It looks like a freaking Maltael, like a death angel floating with this $480 supporter pack that makes your character float once you have the Voidborn body armor, and with this combination with the silver-plated dove color wings and the sky and everything, it just looks freaking amazing. So with this transmog, I'm even gonna play Inquisitor. So let's talk about the build. This video will not contain any showcase of gameplay because I uploaded a couple days ago my Atlas farming strategy where you can see the kind of mapping. I uploaded a separate video killing all the Uber pinnacle bosses. I still have the Atlas tree over here. You know, I just pop in meme. I can do any Uber boss that I want to. Most of them deathless. I think the only problems that I have is like on Shaper with the bullet hell face. You know, this is like very rough to dodge because this is a kinder glass cannon build. In the current version, I'm running somewhere about a 230 million DPS. That means like 114 mil, 115 mil DPS per brand, that is, and I can have 2 on the target. I did have another PUB, I can send you that in the description below as well, the planned one that had more than twice as much. It was like 500 mil DPS with perfect gear basically, right? And I tried to get as close as possible to this, and I opted in actually for more tankiness. You know, it sounds like a little bit weird because 1500 life with a low life petrified blood and 1000 energy shield cannot be really tanky. This is true. I have like a 10-15k EHP, but I'm doing one thing here for the layer of defense. I am Inquisitor, so I get a lot of like regen with consecrated ground and everything, right? But I'm using one Call of the Brotherhood ring, so we have a lightning-based skill where we convert like almost 50% into cold, so my damage mix is like a big portion lightning, a big portion cold, and a portion chaos based on the Incandescent Heart with the Elias extra chaos conversion, right? But that with stacking effect of non-damaging elements on my boots, on my tree, and everywhere, I can freeze bosses and inflict even up to 50% shocks on Uber Pinnacle bosses, right? So we do have a lot of damage, and we're gonna inflict a lot of like cold and freezes, and with my relic I have freezes you inflict spread to other enemies. So we do have this layer of defense that as soon as the brand deals damage, it freezes, the freezes spreads, and everything is just dying anyways. With this kind of DPS, you don't really need a lot of tankiness because everything just dies. I showcased this on the strength stacker as well with having over 250 million DPS. This is kind of the same thing with over 200 mil DPS already on the Storm brand itself. Good. How is this character put together? Give me a second. Sorry. How is this character put together? This is not budget friendly, okay? This version here cost about 3 mirrors, I would say, roundabout. First of all, we do have the Onslaught Dome mirrored Blizzard Crown, okay? This is probably the highest DPS Stonebrand helmet in this league. We have 2 level of socketed AoE gems from Aisling. We have level 20 Conk, 25 Hypothermia, 30% more ally damage from the Essence, as well as 4% base crit for spells. And here we have the Stonebrand, Divergent Swiftbrand, Inspiration, and an Awakened Empower over here to get my Stonebrand up to level 29. So I do run Inspiration with a Mage Blood, reduced mana cost, and -6 over here on the ring. So my Stonebrand costs exactly 1 mana, so I can spend mana. I have no chance of ever getting out of mana, and I will get my Inspiration charges, and I need to spend I don't know how much mana to actually lose those inspiration charges, right? So if you have 1 mana cost skill, this is like absolute perfect, absolute dream. That's why I did not went for 7 minus mana, because then my Stormblade costs 0 mana and I cannot generate inspiration charges. Good. On top of that, we are using the Enlightening Light, which is probably the highest DPS weapon in the game. Deal triple damage with elemental skills. The big downside here is 60% reduced elemental resistance. What that means that even with a Mage Blood, with a Bismuth Flask, with all res over here, I have troubles getting res capped, okay? This staff, for example, if you have a jewel with 10% all res and you have this staff on, it is 4 all res, you know? Every time I stack some kind of resistance, you know, the 15 lightning res will get down to, I don't know, like 7% or 6% res, you know? So it is definitely hard to get res kept on a character like this. That's why I definitely recommend using a Mage Blood in the combination with the Enlightening Light. So that's why I'm saying this is not a budget build. There is plenty of League starters, even Stonebrand Inquisitors out there that you can check out, but I said I want to make a carry brand build. I want to have brands that deal over 100 million DPS per brand, that is, and just kill over bosses, as well as trying out the no-hit Sanctum run, because I think with stacking a lot of like brand detachment range, you can have a very, very safe playstyle in the Sanctum. I had 2 runs, one of them is in my stash, the other one I failed on floor 2 just because I don't know why, there was just like this guardian spawning, you know, there's rooms where there's just the skull shooting flames and there is guardian spawning and you need to kill all the guardians, right? And what I did, instead of just laying down a brand to kill off the guardian, I just flame dashed into his face, he immediately attacked me, and the run was done, right? I do have another run, and I will try the second run, right? But I thought, hey, there is a bunch of builds that could do the no-hit run. Most people do it with like totems, shockwave, minions, SRS, and those kind of things. And I said, hey, you know what? Stonebrand might be insane. If you stack a lot of brand attachment range and you are like here, and on the other platform here is a guardian, I put my brands over here and they're gonna sap to the other side of the room, you know? So I can really just move around, freeze all of the guardians, and just kill them. So the only thing that can actually kill me in the no-hit run, as far as I say, is traps, for example, or just being stupid like the failed run that I did. Good. What else do we have? We have an Incandescent Heart, which gives us Ellie's extra chaos, as well as Ellie damage from hits taking as chaos. So basically you definitely want to make sure that you are res capped. So I did have another version with like over 800 million DPS, but that version was not chaos res capped. I only had like 1,000 life instead of like 1,500. I know it's not a big difference, but it's still like, you know, a 33% more life that I currently have. I was not stun immune. I was not having dual leech setup with like a life leech from the Doriani's lesson over here, as well as spell damage leech from the elemental mastery over here. So, you know, I was like, yo, this PoB 800 million DPS was 400 per brand, you know. This was just too ridiculous when it comes to damage output, but not even ailment immune, no nothing, right? So I said, like, you know what, dude, if I get 100 mil DPS with Stonebrand per brand, that is, I should be fine damage-wise, because I have the knowledge from my strength stacker that had 260 mil DPS in the version that I had it, and everything was dying almost instantly. Even the Minotaur in the showcase, a kinetic blast, my clearing skill, just one-shotted the Minotaur, right? So having that insane amounts of DPS, I decided to go a more tanky route. So as far as this goes, right, so we do have curse immunity based on my amethyst flask over here. We are chaos res capped. We are stun immune based on the unwavering stance that I allocated here on my relic. We do have, as I said, a double leech setup. We have petrified blood, as well as like having double brands all the time. So we have grand design and remarkable 3 times. That means I cast 1 time and I'm always gonna get 2 brands out of that, right? We have the freeze spread. And overall, I think it is still a glass cannon build, don't get me wrong, but it's not as terrible anymore as the planned version that I had, right? Good. Going over the next one is just a +2 all skill, all skills lightning with Wrath mana reservation. This made me able to get purity of elements in here in my setup that helped me getting res capped with the annihilating light, as well as giving me ailment immunity, which I value very high. Then we have Wrath, Cemetery, and Lightning support precision for my Watcher's Eye, as well as a Vitality on high level for even better regen. In my boots, they are like the classic Tailwind Elusive Onslaught boots. Nothing too crazy over here. I mean, it is triple elevated. It is probably one of the best pairs of boots that I ever crafted. But overall, it is just the classic Elusive Tailwind kind of boots, right? Having here Vortex, Bone Chill, Unbound Ailment, and my Flame Dash that helps with inflicting like this Bone Chill support, so the enemies like take increased cold damage for chill and whatnot, whatever. For the gloves, we do have some Temple Gloves with the increased damage with hits against shield enemies, as well as Culling Strike. We do have Spell Damage in the prefix. They are not easy to craft at all, but they deliver what I need. And I also had to craft some resistance to get me a Chaos Rest capped over here. Running here, Assassin's Mark, Arcane Surge support, then we have the Righteous Fire and the Phase Run. This helps me with my current Atlas strategy to get around faster, to actually boss rush and then start clearing the map. So that's why the Phase Rush is here. And then in the staff, Cast and Death Portal. I mean, we're playing softcore here, right? 6 Portal Gamers. Then we have Petrified Blood, Arrogant support with Enlighten. So this, basically, the Petrified Blood soaks up or reserves 49.68 life. That means more than 50% life is free. That means as soon as I cast spells, I'm hitting the 50% damage threshold with the low life, and it enables for me to have Overleech, which is also very interesting when it comes to the survivability. Other than that, as I said, Call of the Brotherhood for a 50% conversion. Why not double Call of the Brotherhood? In PUB, it would be more damage, but when we are converting so much lightning damage into cold, we're not going to inflict any shocks anymore. Or, you know, we're going to end up having like 4% of our damage, or 3% will be lightning damage, so we're not going to have any big shocks, right? And this one Call of the Brotherhood will enable me to have like half my damage lightning, half of my damage cold, with stacking the damaging ailments thingy over here, right? On the boots and over here. So that makes me even able to get like 50% shocks on Uber Pinnacle bosses, which I think is pretty much insane when it comes to that. Good. Other than that, what else is there to say? I have a Bottled Faith for damage, could be an Exploding Flask for the mapping aspect. I do have a Ruby Flask with regen to sustain my Righteous Fire. Without this flask, this is not working. Then I have a Bismuth Flask with All Res, with the All Res suffix on top of that to actually get Res capped. A Chaos Res Flask with the reduced effect of curses. That means I am curse immune with the Mage Blood with a 70% or 95% increased effect. If you want to have more damage, you obviously want to have like cast speed suffix, which is insanely good, but I already had so much damage, so I was like, I'd rather get curse immune to have a well-rounded build overall, you know. And then we have the reduced mana cost, which I think is very important, and we're using a Silver Flask. And this actually stacks with the Onslaught over here, so we do have the permanent increased attack, cast movement speed while you have Onslaught, and so on. And I think nowadays with the Silver Flask, scaling with the increased effect is actually better than a Quicksilver. Yes, a Quicksilver Flask would even have more movement speed, but this one actually gives me now another like 37% increased cast speed, attack speed, and so on. So I think this combination was just the best overall. Let's take a look at the skill tree. We do have a Watcher's Eye here with Wrath, Lightning Damage, Precision, Multiplier, and enemies take 10% increased damage while on consecrated ground. And we do have a double large cluster jewel setup with Disorienting Display, Sadist, and Snowstorm. We do Shock, we do Chill, and how do we ignite? We do have an Abyss Jewel that has added spell fire damage. I think this one has while wielding a two-handed weapon, so everything counts as long as you get a portion on your damage as fire damage. You only need one fire damage. If you crit, you're gonna inflict an ignite. The ignite's not gonna deal damage, but it is ignited, so therefore we're gonna get all the benefits out of the Sadist, getting the extra damage from Chill, Ignite, and Shocked. Then I'm running 3 times a medium cluster jewel with Remarkable Grand Design. Remarkable does when you cast a brand, you have a 35% chance to cast an additional brand. If you have the 3 times, it's 105%, right? So every time I cast a brand, I'm getting 2 brands instead. So I instantly have my damage. And then I have 1 Megalomaniac here with Snowstorm, Cold Conduction here, increased effect of cold ailments on shocked enemies, and the opposite, and Doriani's Lesson to enable my Life Leech on top. Then we're running the Forbidden Flame Flesh with Sign of Purpose. This is the Hierophant brand node, so the brands have 100% more activation frequency if 75% attached duration has expired. That means I just cast the brands and I leave them on, because the longer they are on, at some point they're gonna deal ridiculous amounts of damage. We are playing Inquisitor, so we are using the inevitable judgment, so we ignore the monster enemy resistances with that, so we don't do any like penetration or anything like that. And then we have Righteous Providence, we have the Sanctuary as well as the Pious Path, giving us a shitload of regen when it comes to like Consecrated Ground. The way this works, Consecrated Ground will always be on me, so as soon as I stand still, I get this. When I move, it lingers for 4 seconds, so the buff will last, right? But the good thing here is, since we're a caster, as soon as I cast, I just need to stand still for like a millisecond, right? I cast, and that means I stand still for a short time, and it refreshes. So as you see, I cast, and every time the 4 second duration disappears, that means that I'm in this point stationary, and these 4 seconds will always refresh their duration. Whatever I do, as soon as I cast something, this will refresh. Good. Other than that, nothing too crazy. We do have some triple multi-life jewels over here. You can go for quad multi-jewels, but you know, good luck paying for that. Even those here with triple multi-life are already like at 25 divines per piece, so that's also very expensive on that part. Other than that, brand nodes, we have 2 additional brands cast. We have brand attachment range. I don't need this brand attached to a nearby enemy each time they activate because I have so much damage. The brands one-shot anything anyways all the time, right? Then we have some life reservation efficiency of skill on my reservation mastery to have this like perfectly tuned petrified blood with the 49%, like less than 50% reservation, and that's pretty much it. Let's take a look at the Pantheons real quick, I think. I currently run Soul of Lunaris because I am already stun immune based on my relic. And then I run like Soul of Shakari or whatever Pantheon you want to do. Kill all bandits, transmog. I have the Crucible Hood. I have the full Voidborn set with the Suffering Weapon. The silver-plated Dove Collar Wings. I'm not sure where these are coming from. I think it was like a mystery box or something. Annihilator Weapon Effect. The Bottled Faith transmog that I think it was Kirak's Vault at some point. The rest, all the auras disabled. Watcher's Eye skin here. We have the Celestial Brand effect, the Transcendence Righteous Fire, as well as the Black Hole Vortex effect, and the Nightfall Flame Dash effect. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool character for bossing and for Sanctum. I think for mapping, it should be a bit more tanky, especially when you're played like I do with the Eldritch Gaze and Rampant Growth to all the Searing Exile. You know, the monsters can get pretty naughty, and it can happen definitely if you just Flame Dash around that you just get meleeed somewhere. So you want to have a little bit more of a defensive playstyle. I do not think that this would be good in a 100% Delhi scenario, just because, you know, with that low life pool, we don't have a lot of like EHP at all, you know, and especially in like Delirium content where there's monsters spawning left and right and behind you and in front of you and everywhere. Your brands do an insane good job, but it can just happen with the overwhelming amount of monsters spawning in the 100% Delhi map. They just randomly get one-shotted, so I guess this would not be the content, but it doesn't have to be. I designed this build to be an absolute bossing monster, you know, just go in, get your brands on an uber boss and just watch him die, basically, because I wanted to do all the challenges when it comes to like bosses and stuff, as well as trying out my no-hit run with the carry brand build, because it's insanely strong, insanely good for Sanctum with all the rooms, you know, with all the guardians. You know, I most of the time I don't even see the guardians. They just get randomly one-shotted when my brands just find their target, and it's absolute monster. It's an absolute pleasure to play this build, and this might be something that I would consider as a league starter or future leagues. I mean, sounds kind of ridiculous with this kind of investment, obviously, but I know that Stonebrand Inquisitor is already a very solid league starter that you can convert into something like this build if you want to. You can make it like a lot tankier as well, with going like less damage overall, but still like a more well-rounded build, you know, getting like 5-6k life, maybe 3,000-4,000 energy shield, so you should be able to face tank a lot of the stuff. But this was not the intention of this build, so I'm happy that I reached my over 100 million DPS per brand, and I can like dominate the entire endgame bosses, because usually that's not what build or the normal build would do, can do, should do, and so on, because the uber bosses are quite hard. Good, I think that's it. Path of building links are in the description below. You can definitely try a build like that out. I think Stonebrand, the brand playstyle overall, is for me personally very enjoyable. I really like the brand playstyle, and this is like a very strong version of a Stonebrand Inquisitor. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and next video.